What's going on, guys? Today I wanted to do a quick review on the Sigma 50mm f1.4 art lens. Now, I've done reviews on Sigma lenses in the past. I'm a big fan of Sigma lenses because of the price for one, and the quality is not as bad as some people make it out to be. I use the Sigma 120 to 300 sport lens for my sports photography. I use the 70 to 200mm lens from Sigma for the majority of my portrait work. And a lot of people always kind of question, well, why do you use Sigma lenses? And it's a combination of price and performance. The only lenses that people don't really seem to look down on from Sigma are their Art Series lenses. People really rave a lot about these, and for good reason. These lenses are amazing. So like I said, this is a 50mm lens, and you can see how huge it looks on this camera. This does not look like your standard 50mm lens, and it is heavy as well. And it is also heavy on your wallet, coming in at about $950, I think right now is how much this lens will set you back. It is not cheap, but it will deliver some amazing image quality. This lens is ridiculously sharp. I've been using it a lot with this camera body right here, which is the 5DS, because I wanted to maximize the sharpness to see how well this 5DS did in terms of resolution. And this lens just really delivered some stunning images. This lens is just ridiculously sharp. It is one of the sharpest lenses I have ever shot with. I have no complaints as far as the image quality goes. Now, some people have complained about this lens. They felt that the bokeh was ugly with this lens. Bokeh is subjective as to whether or not you like it or don't like it. I know that there's people who talk technically about bokeh and stuff. I'll be honest with you, I don't have an issue with it. One of the other complaints that I had read online was some people complained about the autofocus performance on this. And if you've watched my other reviews here on YouTube, that's one of the things that I'm very critical of lenses about, is the autofocus performance. And typically I find fault with a lot of lenses for how they perform in low light and backlit situations. And with this lens, I really don't have any complaints about it, even though I know other people have. Not to say that I did not get some out of focus images with this lens, but you have to expect that you're not always going to get a tack sharp image, number one. And I'll be honest with you, the majority of the time that I did get out of focus images using this lens, I think it was more my fault. For example, I did a series of shots while I was doing a YouTube video, and I was talking and thinking about what I was going to say next, as opposed to my shooting style. And when I got back from doing the video, I realized a couple of my images were not tack sharp. But again, I think that that was more my fault than the fault of the lens. I've shot in a lot of different situations using this thing, in low light situations, in good light situations, backlight situations, and I've gotten very, very few images that were out of focus or soft. Even with moving subjects, with people who are running towards me, away from me, side to side, it really performed, and it performed fast. So I didn't run into the problems that other people have kind of complained about with the autofocus on this lens. I'll be honest with you, I just think that this was one of the better performing lenses in terms of autofocus that I've used in a while. And that includes my other Sigma lenses. I think this autofocuses better, faster, and more accurately than my other lenses. Obviously, you get a lens that is an f1.4 lens to shoot at f1.4, and a lot of times when you're shooting at that shallow depth of field, you get a little bit of a soft image. This thing delivered some very sharp images, even wide open. When you stop it down, it gets even sharper. It is just incredibly ridiculous how sharp of an image you can get. I really like this lens. I think it's a very versatile lens. I think that it works well for portraits, for group shots, for street photography. There's just so much you can do with this lens. The only drawback to it, I would love to use this just as a walk-around lens whenever I was on vacation. The only drawback to it is it's big and it's heavy, so it would get annoying after a while. But in terms of performance and versatility, this is definitely one of the best lenses out there, in my opinion. At f1.4, you can let in a lot of light, shoot in really low light situations, get a very shallow depth of field if you need it. It delivers in so many different ways. I absolutely love this lens. I highly recommend it. I think it's built very solid. It's built to last. It's not a cheaply built lens, and it's not a cheap lens in general either. But overall, I highly recommend this lens to anybody who's looking into a 50mm lens and who has about $1,000 to spend, because this lens is just absolutely amazing in every way. And I don't have any complaints about this lens other than the weight. But it's just the reality of the design of this lens. In order to provide the performance that it does, the lens is heavy. Outside of that, I have no complaints regarding image quality or performance of this lens at all, which is rare for me, because if you've watched my other videos, you know I always have something to complain about. So I guess I'll complain about the weight and the price, because those are the only two things that I can complain about with this lens. So I hope that helps you guys out. If you guys have any questions, leave me a comment below. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.